Hello folks, Eric Beatty here. If you're new to this channel, I release guitar instructional videos once a week, every Thursday or thereabout, with occasional videos on gear demos and reviews, screencasts, live streams, and a few other topics on creativity. If you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell to be informed of new video releases. Your support really helps me deliver the content that's most relevant to you. Now, without further ado, let's get on with today's video. Hello friends, back again once more with a brand new video for you guys this week. I'm going to be talking about something that I call bridge notes. Now, what exactly are bridge notes? We're going to get right on into that in this video, so stay tuned. Okay, so bridge notes. Recently I was thinking about some things that I play on guitar and also thinking about my course, Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. It's been a few years back since I've recorded that course, and I've been trying to think over some things that I have learned since that time. Now that was, I think, back in 2015 when I released that, so that's been at least 5 years ago. So what have I learned in 5 years? What I wanted to think about was some new techniques, some new ideas, and one of the first ones that came to my mind was bridge notes. Now this kind of was as much of a revelation to me as backtracking was. If you don't know what backtracking is, you can check out my YouTube channel and just look up backtracking. Not backing track, but backtracking. This was a huge revelation for me in understanding how to create phrases on bluegrass guitar. And that's what exactly this tool is for, bridge notes. They're going to bridge the gap between two or more licks or phrases, whatever you want to call them. I don't know if you caught it or not, but I actually used some bridge notes at the beginning here in this video when I did that little tag lick. Let's listen to that again. I'm gonna play a little slower. I hope you were paying attention to my right hand as well on that, because that's very important. The picking hand and the fretting hand really need to be in sync, and the picking hand most of the time is your culprit whenever you're having issues when it comes to smoothness and cleanness in playing bluegrass. Let's talk about what were those bridge notes that I used here. It sounds just like a regular phrase, right? Well, it is, but if you think about it, a lot of times we have different licks and phrases that we come up with and we wonder, well, how are we going to tie those together? How do we make those into something that sounds a little better, that sounds maybe even bigger? So what we can do is we can take those two phrases, and I'm going to separate those as two phrases, and then I'm going to show you where the bridge notes happen, okay? So in my mind, bridge notes are just a little bitty section of notes to kind of help you stay in time to the beat and help you transition better between phrases. So let's think of it that way. So once again, here's that lick. Now, if I was to take two separate phrases into that, that would look like this. That's a pretty long phrase. Let's try it again. So that is a complete phrase by itself, right? That's what I want you to look at. Look at some complete phrases that you can put together and find ways to kind of string those along together using bridge notes. Here's the second phrase. Simple G run. Once again, pay attention to my right hand. Now, if you're having problems picking, and if you find that's a big issue with you, I know it was with me years ago, and I addressed that in my course, Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. So if you haven't checked that course out, head on over to bluegrassguitaressentials.com, and you'll find some various resources there to help you, including the course itself available on DVD or in an online course format, all right? Picking is so important, and this is one of the things you really need to pay attention to is that right hand. So let's listen to those phrases again just by themselves. That would work as a good phrase, you know, kind of a tag lick, but there's something missing in between. There's a little bit of gap. It doesn't sound right. For one thing, if I did this to a metronome and try this with a click, 1, 2, 3, 4. That wouldn't add up right. The clicks would sound off. They wouldn't sound right exactly. And if I did it without the bridge notes, feel kind of rushed. So those bridge notes, I'm going to kind of highlight those here. Okay, so that is just a simple, maybe 2-note section. Right, there's 2 notes there, that's it. and that connects to the G run. Right, so there's 2 notes there, a little pull off, but that really makes a big difference. Let's try it again with just the phrases without the bridge notes. You would have to pause, and there would be a gap there, and it would not sound right at all. So we add those bridge notes, just that little pull off. Actually, there's 3 notes. No, excuse me, there was 2 notes. Now, this is kind of a fine line. You could think of the first phrase as this. Okay, and then the bridge notes could be that, or you can include that pull off at the end. I would think that would be the phrase, and then you'd have that as the bridge note. Let's take another tag lick that I usually do, and I keep finding myself trying to play that instead of this one, because I'm not used to this one as much. Here's the standard Tony Rice G tag lick. Alright, so let's look at that one. Okay, so that's the first phrase. Or you could count the second phrase as an addition of 1 extra note, that open A string. So we have, once again, if we play that together, it would sound terrible with a metronome. And with a bass drum or mandolin chop, it just would not end on beat 1. It would end on a weird beat. It wouldn't sound complete. It would sound rushed. And if we left a gap there, one thing, I can't figure out where to insert that. I don't know how long to hold the gap because I don't have a rhythmic context. That's very important. So what are the bridge notes we need? Okay, let's find that out. Here's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that's 5 notes. Remember the G run that we're going to use. And then we have that phrase. We add the bridge notes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the lick at the speed, then I'm going to slow down when those bridge notes happen, and then I'm going to speed back up when we're back on phrase 2, which is that G run. So we got 2 pull-offs, D string, 2nd fret, A string, 1st fret, land on that G. We could even eliminate that G as part of the bridge notes and call that a phrase itself. But the difference is there's a slight difference in timing. There's a little gap there. Whereas if we use it in the bridge notes, it goes immediately to that A string. So I'm going to consider that as part of the bridge notes. Once again, go back and watch that right hand if you haven't done so yet, okay? So let's look at some other examples. Let's say I played a high lick up here and I want to get back down here. Okay, let's do another Tony Rice lick. A lot of people like Tony Rice stuff on my channel, so let's cater to that. Here's one of Tony Rice's popular licks. Okay, a little arpeggio. Okay, let's call that whole thing phrase 1, right? There wasn't really a bridge note in there because that all fits together and it's in time. So let's say I wanted to do another at the end of that. It kind of sounds redundant, I know, but that's just for the sake of example here. This is going to use something else that I went over in Bluegrass Guitar Essentials, and that is the power of open string transitions. Getting from one end of the neck to the other by the use of open strings. Very important, very helpful when you're trying to play fast on bluegrass guitar and flat picking, and you need to get from one area to the other. So let's see if we can find an open string that we can use that to get back down. 2 open strings, D and G, right? As soon as I hit those open strings, I'm moving. Let's say we wanted to do that. Okay, so we use the same bridge notes. Now the cool thing is, I can use those same bridge notes on on any time I want to get back to a G run. So if I want to hit a G run and I need to get back there and the timing is kind of off, I can use those bridge notes, okay? And that's just simply pull off, and then a hit on the G note of the low E string. Are constantly kind of shifting when I need to be. I'm looking down here the whole time. As soon as I hit those open strings, my eyes shift here a split second before my hand arrives. I'm always looking ahead to where I need to go next. It's kind of like sight reading. When you're reading music, you always have to look ahead to the next note so that you can get there in time. You don't want to arrive there and be behind because you're not looking ahead. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Right there is where my eyes shifted. Right there. Now, I might shift a little bit later there, but what happens is when you're familiar with this lick and you've practiced it over and over again, your eyes can look away because you're confident in what your fingers are doing. I can look away right now, but that wouldn't serve my purpose well. I want to be able to look at what I'm doing so I can get as clean as I can. I'm going to shift my head. You may have noticed that. I'm going to shift my head when my eyes begin to look away. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the fret. Can't see the string. All I can really see is the top E string and a little bit of the A string underneath that. But I'm playing the guitar enough to know when I'm landing on the correct string. I'm thinking about which finger I'm going to use to get there and which fret am I going to land on, which string. Okay, now part of that has to do with I just left the A string. I don't move my hand a whole lot because then I would be way far away from where I needed to be. I leave it in relation to that A string, and all I have to do is really come down a little bit lower than where I was before. And you want to practice those transitions as well. The open string transition, make sure you practice that. Notice what you're doing as far as picking wise. I'm starting with a downstroke. That starts with an upstroke. A lot of stuff's going on, but the more you do this, the more you're going to realize it's going to become second nature, okay? It's all about practicing and stringing these things together. So we've had... Right, and then we had... And now we've got... Let's try something else with that same lick. That's kind of a longer one. Let's try to simplify that a little bit. Once again, this comes with experience. I've been doing this enough to where I can know what I can do on the guitar, but a lot of it has to do with your ear, what sounds good. For one thing, this is kind of more of a major scale thing. Up to this point, it's been kind of pentatonic. That's that addition of that seventh there, 7, 6, 5 in the major scale kind of gives it a little bit more of a major scale sound. It went from blues to being more major and melodic. And for me, I don't know, I think I'm going over the time a little bit. There we go, we could try that. So that is the bridge notes. Right? That's what we have is a few extra notes that weren't on this. It's a little bit different. So those are just a few examples of how you can use what I call bridge notes to bridge the gap between two or more phrases. Be thinking about how to apply this to your own playing. Take two phrases that you really like the sound of and that sound complete. That's really important. Both phrases must sound complete. Once you have those, then you kind of play it along with some kind of backing track or some kind of tempo, metronome, something like that. Maybe even just a mandolin chop or whatever. Record a simple chop on your guitar. Sounds a lot better to me than a click, click, click from a metronome. Record something like that and play back to it. Give yourself about 4 measures of, let's say, a 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, back to 1. That'll give you enough time to come up with something. And really, this is only like maybe 2 measures worth of stuff. Let me just count while I'm playing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's hard to do. I can't do it. Maybe that is about 4 measures. So give yourself about 4 measures, play 2 separate phrases that you like the sound of, and connect those. Now, with this, it sounds complete because it's a tag lick, and it's made to sound complete. But you may be in the middle of a solo, and you're trying to figure out, how do I connect these 2 licks together? They don't have to end on a beat 1. Sometimes it would continue going on in that measure, and you'll need to add more bridge notes to maybe another phrase. So stringing along 3 or 4 phrases to make a complete solo. That happens by thinking about what happens in the middle between each complete phrase. So if you're having problems with your solos, try that little trick out. Bridge notes, all right? Be aware of that. If you're having problems with your picking, check out backtracking on my YouTube channel. Also, please don't forget, check out BluegrassGuitarEssentials.com. That's more of my beginner, intermediate, advanced kind of course for those who are just getting started in bluegrass but have been playing guitar for at least maybe 6 months to a year and understand the mechanics of strumming and things like that and making some basic chords. If you're interested in getting more advanced on bluegrass guitar, check out my course, Bluegrass Guitar Arpeggios, which you can also find out by going to BluegrassGuitarEssentials.com. There'll be a link and a banner there kind of discussing what that is, and you can click to find out more. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, please be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified when I release new content here on my channel. Also, please be sure to check out any video cards or end screens I've placed in this video for additional resources related specifically to this video. And don't forget to check out the video description for more great links and resources to help you regarding today's topic. And if you feel the need, please like, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends who might also benefit from this material. Until next time, thanks again for your support. God bless, and keep creating.